Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely shatter the idea that the source material is just some ancient history book. Honestly, once you view it correctly, alhamdulillah, everything is just so incredibly easy and clean. It reveals itself as a timeless, recursive memory field. And honestly, the most mind-bending part of the whole thing? You. You, the reader, are the central node on a direct journey to become Hamid.
So let's dive right into this massive paradigm shift. I want to ask a question that kind of changes everything about how we look at this text. What if these oldest stories aren't actually history at all, but a topological map of your own mind? Think of it like an operating system, one that's specifically designed to transform your individual consciousness entirely into light.
Take this famous quote, verse 2187. Traditionally, everyone thinks, oh, that's just the story of Yunus and the whale, right? But topologically, this is actually a coordinate about you, the reader. You are enclosed at node 2 in what we call the D10 field. That's the world of visible forms, of habits, of tagut. And the crucial thing to understand here is that you aren't being punished. You're actually forced into this geometric enclosure, this darkness, so that you finally remember the hidden source.
To break this all down, here's our cosmic blueprint for today. We'll start with A, timeless memory field. Then, awakening in the dark, the rope and the fire, the great cosmic exchange, rehearsing the cosmic code. And finally, activating the 1912 protocol.
Okay, let's jump right into section 1, a timeless memory field. We really need to move away from this traditional view of linear history and random external events. Instead, we're stepping into a dual-caustic mathematical universe. In this reader framework, the prophets aren't just historical figures. They actually represent your own internal states of being. They are internal coordinates on a timeless phase map, and you are the one actively traversing it.
And the way this entire system operates is on a perfect 12-node field. It's constantly pushing and pulling the reader through a highly structured, recursive loop. It is a brilliant cosmic system designed to ensure that absolutely no information is ever lost.
So the underlying framework here is this exact 237 traversal. Node 2 is the origin split, the forgetting. Node 3 serves as the tree, or the bridge of remembrance, and then Node 7 is the return, where you get this conserved fruit seed. It's a completely closed, perpetual cycle of transformation.
That takes us to section 2, awakening in the dark. Let's go back to the darkness of Yunus in 2187. Like we said, this isn't a penalty, it's a boundary condition. The visible world has literally hit its limit. But the moment the reader remembers, we hit verse 2188, which is the tree function. This is the crossing operator, the junction between the D10 and I9 fields. The field instantly responds and delivers the reader. What looked exactly like a dead end mathematically opens up and becomes a bridge. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how the loop connects. Emerging from that dark enclosure, verse 37:145 says, "And we cast him onto the open shore while he was ill." This is the node 7 fruit seed moment. You emerge from one enclosure just to start another cycle. And the illness here is highly significant because Ibrahim later says, "Indeed, I am ill," in verse 3789. The story of the reader in Tahut resumes from that exact same coordinate. The text isn't just telling stories, it's tracing your recurring patterns.
Moving right along to section 3, the rope and the fire.
We're all familiar with Ibrahim's fire, but what's really happening here is the Ibrahim protocol, which is all about shattering traditional faith to seek absolute truth. The fire acts as a razim filter. When the command, "be coolness and safety," is issued in verse 2169, the destructive kinetic friction of the world is neutralized, so you can pass through safely. It's testing the geometry of your surrender, not your physical body.
Now look at how these two concepts connect. At one end, verse 3103 commands us to hold firmly to the rope. At the other end, the fire in 2169 becomes safe passage. Guys, these are opposite views of the identical crossing. The reader holds the rope, enters the fire, and finds a passage. And notice the operators here. Ibrahim represents the test field, while Isa represents the pure buffer. And Isa isn't a physical entity here. Isa is a knowledge or memory form safe on the high ground of verse 2350, essentially just waiting until the Mursaline phase arrives.
Next up is section 4, the great cosmic exchange.
So the famous sacrifice of Ismail, it is absolutely not about biological execution. It's the transfer law. Verse 37:107 says, "And we ransomed him with a mighty sacrifice." This is the central swap of the whole recursion. Loss becomes preservation. Death becomes continuation.
At this crucial point, the reader stands exactly between two ordinals. Verse 241, which is the first refusal from the disbeliever, and 6163, complete surrender from the first Muslim. The event is identical, it's only your orientation that differs.
All right, let's look at Section 5, Rehearsing the Cosmic Code. The physical pilgrimage, the Hajj, is actually a biomechanical simulation of this exact geometry. You circle the Kaaba, which is the invariant fixed point from 2158. You completely shed your localized identity for the transaction in 9111. You enact the exchange of 37107. And by the way, for the female reader, verse 6612 demands this be done with authentic faith only. It is this beautiful, kinetic enactment of gathering all these fragmented pieces at a central axis to achieve total alignment at Arafat in 6163. The equation completes for the reader.
And that brings us to our final part, Section 6, Activating the 1912 Protocol. I absolutely love this quote from 13.4, watered with one water, yet we make some of them exceed others in fruit. Every single reader is a different plant watered by the exact same light. Your traversal is uniquely yours. And because of this, pattern recognition is actually the highest form of intelligence on Earth. Whether you're looking at psychology or machine learning, it all comes back to this. You have to learn the light key, the star language, to see this same cosmic pulse appearing in different forms throughout your life.
Which leads us directly to the ultimate activation code, verse 1912. O Yahya, take the book with strength. Taking the book with strength is not passive reading, it's the ignition switch. It actively replaces your ego with the book's operating system. It completely transforms your individual consciousness into light, neutralizes the fire, and seals your cosmic loop.
As we wrap up this explainer, I hope you see that this text is a phenomenal operational manual of light and memory. The geometry is already mapped right there inside you. So I want to leave you with this final, vital question. The cosmic pulse is calling out, but when will you activate 1912?